2, 3, 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming Central. Today, I'm going to be rating all 32 NFL teams, and I can already see the comments, guys. Like, I can already see them, and really, I don't really care. You can hate on me if you want. You can love me if you want. It doesn't really matter, bro. Like, it's just my opinion here, but I feel like there's gonna be some relation in here. And I watch most of these teams. Some of them I barely watch, and I'll let you know, like, I don't really care for this team. I don't really watch this team. I don't really know about this team. And that's only like for like 5 of them really. And starting off the Arizona Cardinals, that's one of them. Arizona Cardinals, short of the playoffs, not too short of the playoffs, but they overall. I mean, the Cardinal, I don't even know what their record was, bro. But they're not a horrible team, from what I've heard. They're middle of the road. They're nothing crazy. Same with the Falcons. They're a good team. Kirk Cousins being replaced with Michael Penix. Fell short of the playoffs. They're a good team. Nothing crazy here. Now we're getting into the teams that actually make sense. The Baltimore Ravens, very healthy team. Lamar Jackson, they got Zay Flowers. They got one of the best running backs in the league, Derrick Henry. This is an excellent team. They held out great through the playoffs. They held up against the Steelers pretty well, and then they just fell short of beating the Bills in the divisional round. And it really sucks for them. Mark Andrews couldn't catch the game-tying 2-point conversion to go to overtime, which sucks, but, that's how it is. And speaking of the Bills, excellent team. Going to the conference championship against the Chiefs here tomorrow. Just a great team. Josh Allen has had a great year. James Cook has had a great year. Their offensive line and their wide receivers are okay. Khalil Shakir, Amari Cooper, Dalton Kincaid, whatever. They're a great team. Their offense really carries. Their defense, however, I think is what led to the downfall against the Rams. And just really, like, some of the close games they had has really just come down to the defense, and that's just that. And next up we have the Carolina Panthers. Not a very good season for them, but they kind of came back in the end of the season when they knocked the was it the Falcon? It was the Falcons. They knocked the Falcons out of the playoffs. There's definitely room for improvement, but this year, I think they were a bad team. Nothing against them. Bryce Young definitely can come a long way here. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears. As a Bears fan, it wasn't a great year. We had some horrible losses. The Hail Mary against Washington. Matt Eberflus not calling a timeout on Thanksgiving. We lost to the Packers in a blocked field goal. Really the only good thing that came out of this year was Caleb Williams had a great year, and beating the Packers at Lambeau. I mean, that's that. Next up, we have the Bengals. This is an excellent team. Sucks that they didn't make the playoffs. They have they have Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. Chase Brown is a pretty decent running back. I mean, their team is great. They just can't win games. I mean, 7 and 8, like 7 and 9 season, 8 and 9. They're still a great team. There just needs to be a little bit more improvement, and I don't really know what happened, honestly. And then the Browns are a horrible team. I'm not really gonna get to that. And now we have the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott was out for a majority of the season. They were a pretty bad team. They did better than the Bears, but I mean, really, they're not. I mean, it's between good and bad. The Cowboys didn't have a great season. It was just that again, the Cowboys are one of the teams that I don't really pay attention to. Yeah, but now we have the Denver Broncos. They had a great season. This is a great team. It has high potential with Bo Nix at quarterback, Cortland Sutton, that whole team out there. They had a great season, making it to the playoffs, falling short of the divisional round after the wild card, losing to the Bills. It sucks, but they are a pretty good team. I would say they're great. Next we have the Lions. They came back. They were a pretty bad franchise from what I've heard, and then they come back this year, get the first round seed. Unfortunately, they do lose to the Commanders, though. They're still an excellent team. They have Jared Goff, a great quarterback. They have great receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tim Patrick, Sam Laporta, and then they have two great running backs, Dave Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Their defense is great. It sucks that they fell short of the conference championship, but it's whatever. Dan Campbell's a great coach there, but we'll see what happens next year. Next up, we have the Packers. As much as I hate the Packers, they are a great team. Make it to the playoffs. Jordan Love is a pretty good quarterback. I mean, they have Josh Jacobs and Jaden Reed and all those guys up there. But we beat them at Lambeau, so they suck. I'm just kidding. Next up, we have the Texans. They're a great team. I mean, they have C.J. Stroud. They have all these guys. Sucks that they had to, unfortunately lose to the Chiefs, but we all knew that was coming anyway. With their dark magic, Pat Mahomes, all that. But the Texans held up strong, even after losing Tank Dell against the Chiefs. It sucked, but they did make it to the playoffs, which matters. So yeah. Next up, we have the Colts. Once again, another team that I don't really pay attention to. I mean, I would put it probably on the brink of a bad and a good team, but I didn't really hear much about them throughout the whole NFL season. I would put them at a bad team. And I'm going to put the Bears with the Cowboys. Next up, we have the Jaguars. Again, don't really pay attention to this team. They weren't horrible. They had a pretty bad season. I think the only thing that came out good for the season was getting Brian Thomas. And Brian Thomas is great. He has high potential, but it's still a pretty bad team. Next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I want to put them up here, but nobody really likes them. Really. I guess they're an excellent team. They somehow won against the Raiders with that stupid false snap with, I think it was Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew. I can't remember. They blocked the Broncos' game-winning field goal. They always find a way, bro. I swear, they always find a way. But honestly, bro, just because of that, I'm just gonna put them as a great team. They just went off luck. That's what I'm saying. Next up, we have the Chargers. The Chargers are, I think, at the top of a good team. Maybe even a great team, only because they made the playoffs. But Justin Herbert is a great quarterback. He wasn't a great quarterback in the wild card round when he threw 4 picks. One of them was a pick six. It's whatever, but they have, Lad McConkey, great wide receiver. They have J.K. Dobbins, great at the running back position. And their defense is pretty solid, maybe a little bit more improvement to work on. But overall, the Chargers are a pretty good team. Next up, we have the Rams. The Rams, sucks that they had to lose to the Eagles when Stafford threw that weird pass to Puka Nacua. It sucks. But they're still a great team. I would put them in right in front of the Chargers, right behind the Packers. Maybe in front of the Packers, doesn't really matter. But their team is pretty strong. Puka Nacua, Matt Stafford, Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp. Even though Cooper Kupp didn't really have a great season, it's still a pretty good franchise. Next up, we have the Raiders, horrible team. The only good thing that they got out of this was Brock Bowers, and as of today, Pete Carroll is their new head coach. Good luck. Next up, we have the Dolphins. They're a mid-team, fell short of the playoffs. They were eliminated when the Broncos won, and the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill maybe leaving the franchise. We're gonna have to see. Their head coach, what is it, Mike McDaniel? I don't know. I think the Dolphins could be a losing team next year. Next up, we have the Vikings. The Vikings are an excellent team. They had a great year, going 14-2. Kevin O'Connell's a great head coach. They have a great team. Unfortunate that Sam Darnold played the way he did against Detroit in the final week, and then it sucks how he played against the who did they play in the wild card round? They played the Rams, right? Yeah, they played the Rams. It sucks, but they had a pretty good season. Aaron Jones, they got, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, all those good guys. Next up, we have the Patriots. They're a bad team. Don't really want to get into it. The Saints, they're a pretty bad team, too. Sucks they lost out Chris Olave. They lost Derek Carr. Really, the only good thing maybe was Alvin Kamara, but still, really not a franchise I really pay attention to. I mean, the Giants, too, they're a pretty bad team. Malik Neighbors is a great wide receiver. I feel like the Giants could be a good team if they get a good quarterback, because this quarterback, if they get a good quarterback, they can throw to Malik Neighbors. They'll have a good season. Next up, we have the Jets. This is another so-so team. Aaron Rodgers. It's whatever. They have Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. I want to put them in good team only because of their players, but their season wasn't really good. I'll just put them at the bottom of bad. Next will be the Eagles. This is an excellent team. I don't really like their Eagles fan base, unfortunately, but their team is stacked. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, all these guys. Their defense is great. They have the best defense in the league. They're playing the Commanders tomorrow. We'll see what happens, but I'm thinking that the Eagles will probably take the dub tomorrow. Next will be the Steelers. The Steelers are a great team, I guess. I mean, I didn't really pay attention. I really only started watching them when the playoffs hit. And then they lost in the wild card against the Ravens. So it's whatever. Russell Wilson, George Pickens, all those guys. Najee Harris. They have some decent guys over there. Except for the Seahawks, they're a good team. Nothing crazy. Came short of the play. Well, not too short of the playoffs, but they didn't make it. Geno Smith had a great season. I think he threw over 4,000 passing yards, if I'm not mistaken. I'm probably wrong on that, but the Seahawks are a pretty good team. Next will be the 49ers. They had a crap season. I think they had a losing season. What was it, like 6-9, 7-10? It sucks that they came out of the Super Bowl and had a season like this. I want to put them in great, but just because of their season, it's whatever. I hope Brock Purdy has a way better year next year, and that they can actually get Christian McCaffrey back, and he won't be, gone all season on IR. Next up, we have the Bucks. They're a great team. Baker Mayfield. They got Mike Evans out there. Bucky Irving. He's on there for. I don't know. I forgot if he qualified for Rookie of the Year. If he's in the race for that, but Bucky Irving's a great running back. Their team is great. Sucks that they lost to the Commanders on an upright field goal by Zane Gonzalez, but it's whatever. The Bucks are a great team. Tennessee Titans, don't even want to talk about them. And finally, guys, we're at the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders have had a phenomenal season. We'll see what happens next year, but for right now, they're at the top of a great team. They got ideally the best draft pick of the draft, Jaden Daniels, throwing absolute dimes to Terry McLaurin and De'Ami Brown, and Zach. That's a great offense. Brian Robinson, McLaurin, De'Ami Brown, all those guys. That is a winning team. I would really love to see them go to the Super Bowl tomorrow. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up my NFL tier list. If you want to see Camden do this, which would be hilarious, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.